This episode of the Restoration Today podcast is brought to you by Company Cam. Ready to ditch the disorganized texts and folders? With Company Cam, keeping track of the details of your restoration project is insanely easy, making communication between crews, insurance companies, and clients all the more streamlined. Photos can be annotated and users can create professional reports and branded before and after photos. Company Cam is the easiest way for restoration professionals to capture and organize job site photos. Visit companycam.com/C&R to start your free trial and get 50% off your first 2 months. That's companycam.com/CANDR to get started. Hello there. Thanks for checking out this episode of the Restoration Today podcast. Today, I am excited to be joined by somebody that I've known for a little bit in the restoration industry, a smiling face that I see at trade shows and stuff like that. I am joined by Aaron Provencal. Nope, I don't think I said it right, but I did. Okay.
Yep.
He and I had a discussion off camera. I always ask everybody, how do you pronounce your name? So I don't butcher it. So I'm glad I didn't. He is the general manager of Five Star Restoration, which is a division of Kustom in there in California. But he more recently sold his company. They closed on December 31st of 2021. So he now, as we're recording this in November, is coming up on his 1 year of being part of the Kustom brand of companies. So I wanted to bring Aaron on to talk about what it was like to sell his company and kind of what this last year of transition has been like. I've talked to a lot of owners who have kind of gone through the transition, but not a ton that have shared their experience of what the transition into being part of a new brand is. So Aaron, thank you very much for joining me. So for people that don't know you, can you share a little bit about kind of yourself and your background and the background of Five Star?
Sure. So I've been in the industry for about 30 years now. We started out as a carpet cleaning company based out of a home. So it was Brenda and Gary Gallion that had a carpet cleaning business, and I was their first employee back in 1993.
Okay.
So I had a couple years of experience doing carpet cleaning prior to that, and then the goal was to kind of get into the restoration field. So Gary went off marketing to like insurance agencies to try to get the foot in the door for the restoration side. So yeah, we kind of started out there. I mean, I remember our first fire damage pack out that we did. We used a self-storage unit and packed things back to the self-storage unit and just brought things out in the driveway in the middle and cleaned it. And that was kind of our first experiences doing some contents. And then we had a bit of water damage and things there, but we really didn't get into the reconstruction side of things for probably 4 or 5 years.
Okay. So when were you approached to sell, or, this has been such a crazy few years in the M&A space. A lot of companies have been approached. A lot of companies have gone to market. So what did that look like? Was there talk of selling, or was it, no, we're never going to sell? Oh, but this is kind of interesting.
Yeah, we weren't really looking to sell at the time. Andy from Kustom, he just reached out to me one day on LinkedIn and said, hey, can we grab lunch? So just went out to lunch with them. We started chatting. We had a few more chats after that, and he expressed interest in acquiring our company. So Brenda and I were partners for 15 plus years, and so we were tossing it around and thought it might be a good idea, but we didn't want to just come to the first person that offered us. So we ended up putting it out to market at that point. We had, I think 40 LOIs or 40 non-disclosures signed. And so
that's a lot
of interest. And then I think we ended up with 18 offers to review once we got to that point.
Okay, I have many questions. Okay, so did you use a broker through the process, or did you go? Okay.
Yeah.
Would you recommend that to other companies? Have you heard of people going it alone? I have to imagine a broker is helpful.
I think a broker is definitely helpful because they can kind of guide you along the way, give you suggestions. They've seen many offers and kind of can work through that with you and help you make the best decision.
Sure.
For sure.
Yeah. Was
Definitely.
the broker, did you use somebody within the restoration industry who understands the industry, or did you use kind of an outside person who understands business in general and they helped as a broker?
We use an outside company. So they they've done all kinds of different companies, but they've had restoration experience as well. So.
Okay. So when you got those 18 offers, then what did it look like? I mean, that's a lot of due diligence on your part then to make sure that you're choosing the right company for 5 star. So what did that look like?
So a lot of meetings. So we did a lot of either in-person meetings or virtual meetings at that time, just trying to learn more about the different companies, the different offerings, and just trying to make the best decision for our company and our employees, and what would be best for future growth. So
Sure. Yeah.
yeah.
So what were some of okay, you just listed some of them, but in those conversations, how much were you thinking about culture and who's a good fit? How are you determining those things? Were you talking to other owners as well to like, okay, yeah, Andy's a great guy and he's going to tell you great things about Kustom, right? But, he is higher up the ladder, the highest on the ladder that it comes, right? So who else did you talk to kind of try to figure out who's the best and what are the experiences contractors are having?
Yeah, it's kind of difficult. Of course, they're going to tell you the best things when they meet with you. So it's kind of nice to be able to talk to others that have gone through the transition prior to. So that was a nice thing about Andy. He invited us to their leadership summits. We went to 2 of those prior.
Okay.
So what it does is they bring all their companies, all the general managers for each location. They meet twice a year.
Okay.
Kind of go over their numbers and go over areas that they can help each other with. So he invited me out to those. I actually got to meet with the prior owners of a lot of the companies that already gone through the process, and just being able to have that relationship with them. They're very open, and were able to share their experience with me as well.
Did you have some prior relationships with owners like through RIA or anything? I think you probably had to have known some of the owners already, right?
Yeah, I've run into a few of them before, yeah, but never really sat down and talked to them about this. So
Yeah. So how far into the process? So, okay, how long did it take you to vet all 18 offers and figure out what direction you were going to go?
So we were kind of crunch time. So we wanted to close in 2021 just because tax implications, we didn't know where those were going. So we were really, our goal was to close December 31st. So we were kind of at a crunch time. So we were really reviewing those and trying to figure out the best one to go with. So I think we did that about 90 days prior to closing. So we were kind of a short time frame that we needed to close quick. So
what was the due diligence phase like for you? How much of your team knew that this was going on and was helping with all the crazy paperwork that's in that process?
Yeah, it's not easy. So we had myself, Brenda, and then we had 3 other employees that were assisting with gathering all the information. They knew what was going on, and it's definitely helpful to have more than just yourselves working on it, because it's a lot of work for sure.
How big was your company on the day that you sold and closed the paperwork, signed the paperwork?
So we were just under 19 million with about 95 employees.
Okay, that's a lot. So what was your process for telling them? I mean, you closed on a holiday kind of. So when did you tell your team?
Yeah, that was the big question. We wanted to let them know as soon as possible, but we were still going through the due diligence, and we wanted to make sure it was a firm deal before we made any announcements. So we ended up doing it right after Christmas.
Okay.
We had a company meeting. Andy flew out. We got everybody all together, kind of like a early dinner celebration, and then we made the announcement and explained to everybody that Kustom's goal was keep 100% of the people on staff and not get rid of anybody. That's a lot of concerns going through people's heads, and made sure all the benefits would be either equal to or better than what they were before. So
and how's that gone, keeping the team intact?
It was good. I think we lost maybe a couple that were just afraid, but it was their choosing. Andy and his team, they weren't looking to cut anybody whatsoever. So everybody that wanted to stay stayed. and we've grown quite a bit since then. We're probably about 115 employees now, so
Yeah.
we've grown a bit.
What did the transition look like through, because your branding hasn't totally changed, right? You have like you're the division of custom, but what did the whole transition look like to be included into custom then?
Yeah, so we're still going through that process.
Okay.
Yeah, we're doing some co-branding now. A lot of our vehicles will say Five Star Restoration, a division of custom.
Yep.
Some of our newer vehicles, we're doing straight logos with custom only. So we're kind of doing some co-branding in our area, and eventually we will be going to custom here. I'm guessing probably first part of next year, first quarter.
Okay. What are some of the best things that you've seen come out of this for Five Star?
We've always been majority residential. So joining a custom team, they've got a lot of commercial contacts, commercial accounts. So we've been able to work and build off of that. So we've been doing quite a bit of commercial work that they've sent us locally in our area where they used to subcontract it out. So we were able to take that on, and kind of the team's pretty excited about that. They like those larger losses as well. So
Yeah. And what are some things that you found that maybe like didn't go wrong, but were there more of a struggle as you're adapting to a new brand and how things go in like a bigger corporate over you versus, it all being internal, right? What are some of the challenges you faced?
I would say probably, so we were always quick to pay our subcontractors. I mean, we want to take care of them. I mean, they're essential to your business and your growth. So just hurdles working through that process. We were a fairly large company, and to get all that moved over to custom corporate in Florida slowed things down a little bit, but I think we've kind of worked through that process, and we got it dialed in now to where we can get them paid quicker than at first. But that was one of them. And then I think the biggest struggle for the team was probably a software transition. So
Sure.
moving over software is never easy. And
No.
then so going through that process, not only our job processing software, but our accounting software and credit card processing and all of that. So it was a big hurdle for the team to do all that change.
What software were you onboarding? What software did you move to? What does custom use? Or is it proprietary?
So we were using PSA prior to.
Okay.
So it was very strong on the accounting side and everything. And then we moved over to Dash, which isn't as transparent for the project managers to be able to see their job costs real time that we were used to. So we're just working through that process and trying to figure out the best way to get that information that they need.
Do you have any close competitors in your market? I'm curious if they had any sort of reaction. Like, I know I talk to other owners when they know somebody in their market is selling, and it's like, oh, what's going to happen? Like, is that good? Is it bad? What's going on? So did you have any of that going on in your market?
Yeah, I'm sure we did. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of talk when something like that happens. And
it's a small industry.
It is, yeah. So I'm sure they're waiting to see how everything goes. And there was another large restoration company that got bought by private equity like 4 years ago, and they just shut their doors just out of the blue like a month ago. So
Okay.
I'm sure they're waiting to see what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yes. What are some of the big lessons that you have learned through this process that you would tell other owners or upper leaders in restoration companies as they're thinking about selling or going through this process?
You just got to make sure the timing's right for you. I mean, you don't want to get to a point where you need to sell. So you just want to make sure you're planning ahead of time, and never be in a point where you're just going to take whatever offers out there. You want to make sure you're setting yourself up for a resale, work with business consultants to get you where you need to be. That way you're going to get the most out of your hard work for sure.
What are some of the things that having custom corporate there, what are some of the benefits to having that? Maybe it's marketing or whatever that may be. You have more support, right? So what does that look like? What are some of the benefits there?
Yeah, it's just being part of a larger team for sure. We were DKI members for a long time, and it's just really good to get together with other business owners and meet and go over best practices and see where you can help each other out. So I've really got that same feeling back when DKI was 15 years ago. Just being able to get together twice a year with the other companies, the other divisions, and help each other out. It's been very beneficial.
So what do you see as some of, like, let's move to a big industry scope. What do you see as some of the biggest challenges that the industry as a whole faces, or that you see Five Star or Kustom facing? Maybe it's pricing, or hiring is obviously a huge one. Of course, yeah, you laugh when I say that. It's like,
Right.
it's terrible. So what are some of the big challenges you see facing the industry that maybe you're facing?
Yeah, I think you hit them both. Yeah, definitely labor shortage. We're seeing that get a little bit better just as new construction housing is slowing down a little bit. So we've been getting quite a few new applicants coming through. And so we're just working through those. And we are been in a hiring mode for some time and looking to hire more. But and then, yeah, pricing is always a struggle dealing with the TPAs. We're a big TPA company. So having Kustom refers those commercial jobs is just a breath of fresh air when you're not having to go back and forth with the TPAs and everything. So
What have you got? Oh, I'm sorry. Continue. Go
I
ahead.
was just, we're looking to build that side of the business more.
What have you found that it takes to be successful in the program work side of things? I mean, there are companies that do well with program work, but it's kind of this divisive conversation in the industry, like you can't ever make profit on programs or whatever that may be. So what have you found to be kind of the key to being profitable when doing program work?
I think the biggest part of it is focusing our training on our estimating side of things. So making sure that they're capturing everything that can be captured within the guidelines of the programs. And being creative within those. You got to stay within their guidelines, but you've got to figure out a way to be profitable. So there's always going to be a lot of back and forth with them, but just trying to make that work to where we can stay profitable and stay within their guidelines and their reviewers and the supervisors. And yeah, so it's a challenge, but we were able to make it work for us.
That's good. That's good. On the hiring front, have you found any tricks or anything that you have found that work for you in your market?
We hired an outside HR team to they bring us leads constantly, so they're going through Indeed. I'm not sure what all, Craigslist, but they do a good job at bringing in candidates for us. So we're constantly interviewing. We typically do at least 5 interviews per week. So we're always interviewing, always looking for people that will fit our culture and bring them on the team.
Is that a company, so an HR company, even outside the restoration industry, so not a recruiter specific to the industry?
Correct. Yeah, so they're a local company that we've worked with for a number of years, and they know what we're looking for, and they do a good job at bringing in the candidates.
I like that. Okay, so get up on a pedestal and tell fellow restorers the value of hiring people into your company that may not have restoration experience.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, personality goes a long way. I mean, you can teach people a lot of things, but yeah, just making them customer service and personality. I mean, that goes a long ways. As long as they have those, we can teach them the restoration side for sure.
You're the first restorer I've ever heard say that they're using an outside company for hiring outside the industry. And that's brilliant. That was always, I recruited, I think, for 4.5 years in the industry. And my biggest frustration, I think, with owners was getting so pigeonholed in, I need an estimator and they have to know Xactimate. It's like, there's, I don't know what you're wanting from me. I'm not a miracle worker. I don't know. And they might have bad habits. So find somebody that knows software or is tech savvy or whatever that may be and train them on Xactimate. And, they have construction anyway.
Yeah. It's, it takes more time to train them, of course. So there's a lot more time to get them up to speed, but Sometimes it works out well. We've had a lot of success actually hiring insurance adjusters and training them to estimate properly, as most of them don't. So
yeah,
as long as they have a good attitude and customer service, that's what's good about the insurance companies. They are big on customer service, so they usually have that coming in. And then if you can teach them how to estimate for profit versus not, then that's good.
yes. Okay, and let's also talk about retention. I mean, you went from, I don't know, you said 90 something employees to over 115 now. So how are you keeping people? What do you think is encouraging people to stay with Five Star or with Kustom or whatever? What, it's a employee market. I mean, they can kind of go anywhere, work for anybody, and restoration isn't the most glamorous work. So what are you doing to keep your people there?
I think it's just the team that we have. I mean, everybody cares about everybody. The way we're structured, we don't pay people based on personal performance, is based off the company's performance. So we do set a profit sharing for bonus structure. So it's based on productivity, profitability of the entire company. So everybody's working towards the same goal and helping each other out. And it just really feels like a family atmosphere here. I mean, people will spend more time at work than they do at home. And so we try to make it get the best experience possible.
What are some of the things that you do to help with your company culture and overall like that family feel? Maybe it's events or extra prizes for being nominated best employee of the month or whatever. What are some of the things you do to help with the culture aspect?
We do quite a few things, but like some of them, we'll do a manager's breakfast. So all the managers will actually cook breakfast for all the field crews. So it's a pretty big event, and they have to start early, prep the day before, and we start at I think they get here at like 5 o'clock in the morning. They start cooking, and then all the crews come around 7, and yeah, it's a big event, and very appreciated by the crews for sure.
All right, I love it. Okay, anything that we haven't talked about that you want to share that regarding M&A or selling or running a restoration company today, maybe kind of going into a recession, maybe coming out of one, depending on who you talk to, I don't know, but anything that else you want to share?
Yeah, I would just suggest when you are looking to sell, make sure to vet them properly. If they are private equity, some of those are good, some of them aren't so good. So make sure to research them and see how many companies have closed after the sale. So that's pretty important. I mean, we've got a great team. We didn't want to have anybody lose their jobs. So that was our main goal, is to have something for the team to continue to grow.
Yes. Perfect. Well, Aaron, thank you so much for sharing all your insight. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to hopefully seeing you at a show or something in 2023.
Yeah, for sure.
For more Restoration Today, visit our website, cnrmagazine.com, or find us wherever you get your favorite podcasts.